Hey guys, Haz here bringing you another video. Now welcome back to Unranked to Diamond. Yes, this is Unranked to Diamond, don't worry. But this is the series that we take a Smurf account, fresh account, never played ranked before, and show you the adventure to Diamond. And now we're doing an experiment episode again today. The reason for it is, again, this series is now over 100 episodes. So I want to kind of try and keep it a little bit fresh, make sure there's a lot of different lessons coming out of the episodes. So doing something like this every now and then is going to teach you different things. It'll have a different perspective from the game. And yes, I'm playing in the game. We're playing Rek'Sai today, but I can focus on different parts of the game as well. Now, before we begin the actual commentary, let's bring up the loading screen right now. So as you can see, the enemy team have a 52.2% chance to win. Let's break it down very quickly. A Platinum 1 Shaco, Diamond 5 Fizz, Diamond 5 Severe, Diamond 4 Thresh, and a Platinum 2 Pantheon. On my team, we've got a Diamond 4 Victor, Diamond 5 Poppy, Platinum 2 Leona, Diamond 5 Jinx, and a Platinum 2 Rek'Sai as myself. So yes, I'm playing Rek'Sai today, a champion that I do feel is a very good jungler for solo queue. You tend to only see her in higher ratings because she does have a little bit of a, not really a higher skill cap, but more of like a higher decision-making cap, really. You know, you decide, do I go in for that? Do I not go in for that? It's kind of sometimes hard to get it right. As for the team comps, though, and this is something I want to focus on quite heavily, is, as I said to you guys throughout, the videos in general, is look at your team comp, look at their team comp. What does your team have in strength? What does their team have in strength? So the two main champions for the enemy team I want to point out is Pantheon and Shaco. These both champions are known to be very early, aggressive champions that do fall off later. Yes, they can still be useful later on, but not, say, as useful as an average champion. Where they are mainly useful is in the first 10-15 minutes. So just keep that in mind. And that is one thing to say with my team that I wanted to drive the point home, is we don't need to go for any risky plays here. And again, it's something that a lot of people do by mistake, is they just feel that they have to get ahead early. You don't have to get ahead early when your team comp has the advantage in the later game. Focus very much on where your strength lies, not focus on where the enemy strength lies. Don't give them that advantage. Anyway, because it's a Shaco, and he has Ignite, I say to my team, I'm going to start blue today. It's a little bit different, and what I'm kind of thinking here is, again, I'm going to have Fog of War on, and what we're going to quickly do, just to see if I'm right, where's Shaco? So Shaco's actually starting, he's doing the double. So he's going to be doing this and then going over to that. He's moved his box over here so it doesn't aggro. So he'll do this quickly, go to the red buff, pull it to the box, and then he can do both. The reason why I was starting blue is Shaco with Ignite, he probably will try to invade me when I'm doing wolves or something if I do decide to do them. So that's the reason why I decided not to start the Gromp. It's just to speed up the clear to try and get to top lane as quick as possible, because I know top lane is going to be a difficult lane because it's a Pantheon. He just presses Q about 10 times and then goes for the kill. Starting the blue buff, relatively normal. Smite it to get the early smite. The earlier you smite, then you get your smite back up. I believe that might be even wrong. But yeah, just doing a standard clear. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to pause it in a second. This is what I can do differently in a replay, just to see if my mindset was right. So I'm going to just mosey my way on over to the other side of the map. I'm going to quickly pause it and just look at the whole map. So now Shaco's going to go over to his red. It'll be interesting to see what he does after the red. So I'm actually going to stay on him for a while. And again, this is something I can do completely different that I can't normally do in a live commentary or something. If the camera actually would stay on him, that would be great. So he does the red buff. It's actually taking him a while to clear it. This is not actually a great Shaco clear. The camera keeps moving. And then, yeah, okay, he doesn't decide to invade me. And he actually mucks up completely. So that guy, not a great start for him. Let's just get rid of that. And then, yeah, now I'm on the red buff. And the idea is to try and help Poppy as much as possible, like I mentioned. I feel that Pantheon is probably, in all the lanes, the worst one in the early game. But he's also a lane you can kill fairly easily. Like, he's a squishy champion. He doesn't have much escape. But in top lane, you can already see, or while something going on in bot lane, we'll actually rewind and see what happened. Because, again, we can do this in a in a live commentary. Always good to see what happens. So it's 3 minutes, so we'll go back to roughly 2:51. I think that'll do. Alright, let's see what happens. Right, so you can see the lane here. Both are kind of low. Enemy bot lane's a little bit higher. The minion wave is slightly pushing into my team's territory, so let's see what happens. Obviously, there's a Thresh. So he's positioning to hook. Jinx actually gets hooked with probably knowing he was there. Ignite and basically a free kill. Leona at this point is going to try and get away, and I think she does get away. But yeah, that positioning from Jinx not being hid behind minions is what killed her. You know, that's exactly what you have to do when you are playing against a Thresh in the early game. Don't give him a hook opportunity. So there's just a little, you know, basic lesson there. I'm looking for a gank myself, looking for the Pantheon, as I mentioned throughout. You know, I want to shut this guy down. Victor is pushing in mid, so you can have. He has to be a bit careful. And we're actually going to swap back to my side. So we go in for the gank. Unfortunately, he does get away, but he does burn his flash. That is a good gank for me. Definitely worth getting the summoner spell. Victor gets ganked by the Shaco. You can actually see double ignite came out then over the left here. Fizz used his, and so did Shaco. That was not great coordination by the enemy team. If they let the Fizz's ignite run down, and then as soon as Fizz's one stopped, then the other one started, then maybe. Right, so I'm coming for a gank, and I think this is a free kill. Victor comes in, and unfortunately he missed his E. He even admitted in the chat, damn, my bad, I missed the E. If he hit the E there, he would have survived. He would have died before, and that would have been just a free kill. You know, nothing happened, nothing bad happened, but unfortunately that mistake did happen, but that's fine. I pick up a kill for myself nonetheless. Also in the bottom, you can see down here, I've arranged everybody in the correct, so you can look at comparing the last hits, comparing the items, and occasionally I'll swap over to the gold, so you can actually see who's got the most gold. So in bot lane already, there's a 500 gold lead for the Jinx, there's a 100 gold lead, or even Lena, there's like a 20 gold lead for Pantheon. I've got a slight gold lead on the Shaco, and then mid lane is a little bit ahead in Fizz's favour. So yeah, not bad though. Wrong button. Alright, so bot lane, they are struggling, but again, let me just make the point. We don't need to panic in this game. You know, just be passive, don't go crazy. I don't know what that E was for, but just be passive, just farm as much as you can, and we'll win the fights later on. I think at this point in the chat, I was going, okay, I'm going to get this, and then I'll be bot lane soon. I've just purchased my blue Smite, the Stalker's Blade, which gives me a nice slow. I would definitely recommend Stalker's Blade for Rek'Sai, because sometimes you always find that you're going right underneath something to knock them up, but they're just out of range. Now, the reason I queued over there is just to see if Shaco was doing it randomly, and then my team decided to go, hey, let's just do it. A lot of spam pings coming out from both teams here. Shaco does get a nice gank off the Victor. This Victor did have a tendency to over push without much vision going on. But yeah, at this point, this is a good dragon to do. We're literally just doing the dragon because the enemy bot lane went back. It's Ocean Dragon, which gives us sustain in the early game. A lot of people think Ocean Dragon's pretty bad. Ocean Dragon's not bad at all. Like, if you're against a comp, like the enemy team comp, that is good in the early game, you can trade with them in the early game, back off a bit, regen from Ocean Drake, and hey, that's a good dragon to have. Moving on over to do the Wolves. And yeah, the game's calmed down a little bit. The enemy team is obviously slightly ahead. You can also see at the top, they are 1.7k gold already ahead at 6 minutes. But at this point, I'm not panicking. Again, team comps is like the lesson of today's episode. Just look at your team comp and see what's happening, and just play smart. You know, a lot of people play League of Legends, and they're like robots. They're not actually thinking. They just do stuff for the sake of doing it. They're not actually thinking about what they're doing. Bot lane again, she's maintaining farm. Like, this gap has been relatively the same gap in the past, like, 3 minutes. So if she's maintaining the gap, that's fine. I mentioned that a couple episodes ago. If you get behind, just maintain what you currently have. Don't let them get further ahead. I'm going to be clearing this, and then I think I'm going to be looking for top lane soon, or I'll be going back. I'm nearly level 6. Obviously, I'll want level 6 as much as possible, or as quick as possible, because it gives me that global pressure. I'm moving around the map really quick, but I decided to go back instead, because Poppy obviously is pushing a little bit too much. Mid lane, Victor has to use his range advantage. Yes, Fizz is a very annoying champion to lane against. We're all in that same boat. We all know he's annoying to lane against, but he's a relatively easy champion to beat if you play it smart. Just don't let him, you know, be careful with his ultimate. Obviously, just move when he's going to use ultimate. It's sometimes, or most of the time, even in higher diamond, it's very predictable when a Fizz is going to go in. So just read the Fizz like a book, see what he's going to do, and use your range advantage. Use your laser, use your Q, and just poke him out of the lane. Bot lane's still just farming. Poppy actually gets a really nice dive on Pantheon. I'm not going to go back because I don't want to make this episode really long. But yeah, she gets a really nice dive. That's really good to see. I pass over the blue buff to Victor, and in my head... well, just quickly, a gank's coming up in the bot lane. Thresh actually gets a hook. I do the blue smite to slow him, look for the knock-up, and I actually want to give this to Jinx. She gets the first kill. Now I'm looking for the Severe. The spell shield comes down. I wait till the spell shield goes away, then throw the knock-up, and I actually pick up a kill for myself. I don't know if Leona needed to flash then, because she actually had a decent amount of health. But like, going back, so that was a good gank. That was a successful gank. That was good. as I said here about the blue buff, I said I gave him blue buff, passed it on over to him. Also, actually, I want to go back and actually go and see this. Hang on. This is really good, and even I missed this when I was in game. So we just did that really nice gank, really good play, all that type of thing. By the way, this unpausing thing is just a spectator's bug. So we're thinking, okay, let's go back and buy. So I'm in my thingy mode, my underground mode, and you can see the Shaco just did that cloud. Leona ult comes down. Unfortunately, she missed the stun. But that was really good play by Leona. I missed that. I wasn't paying attention. But she saw the Shaco cloud come down and she knew Shaco was going for the Jinx. So that was really good. But going back, like I was saying, is I gave the blue buff to the Victor who already had 2 deaths. Sometimes as a jungler, I sympathise with mid laners too much because I'm a mid laner. I know if I was a mid laner, I'd want blue buff even if I'm behind because blue buff would help me get back into the game. So sometimes I do give blue buff to people I probably shouldn't. I do decide to give it to Victor, and in my own head I was thinking, okay, if he dies now with this blue buff, I probably won't give him the next one unless he starts playing quite good. Because it's just a waste. You know, there's no point giving a buff to somebody who's just gonna die. Anyway, gonna look for another gank now. Gonna go to Cinderhulk jungle item because, again, Rek'Sai, you're a tanky carry. You don't need to build warrior. I think it's kind of pointless. I thought Pantheon would have warded the try, but it turns out he didn't, so I'm gonna look for the kill here. Trying to get that knock up, I decided to go for the flash on it because sometimes you may as well just look for the instant damage. Poppy is going to go for it. What I should have been doing here is actually tanking the tower a little bit more, but unfortunately they do get away. Victor actually picks up a nice kill on the Shaco. Remember, Shaco is still Shaco. He's still stupidly squishy, and a Victor is still a Victor. So if Victor manages to get the damage off, that Shaco's going to die as long as Victor doesn't get one shot. That's the idea. The gank out top lane unsuccessful, unfortunately, so I do blow my flash for basically nothing apart from the Pantheon's flash. But Victor is now just continuing to farm. Bot lane is in a bit of a pickle. Again, Jinx gets hooked, unfortunately, but there's a nice kill. She does actually walk into the Thresh's ultimate, unfortunately, and kills herself. So that could have been a better situation. And then Leona decides to go for a Pokemon battle and gives the Thresh a double kill. No point really to do that. Fizz goes for a dive on the Victor, mucks up, and then gives Victor another kill. So now Victor going from a 0-3 Victor is now a 2-3. Pantheon ult comes down, you can't be surprised, and then boom, a free Pantheon kill. Very much a Pantheon top lane means he's never going to be top lane. Again, it's a very, very easy thing to predict the Pantheon top. If there's a kill, if someone's low, and he's not in top lane, he's coming for you. That's basically how you got to think when you're playing versus a Pantheon. All you do, as if this Poppy, she's quite strong right now. Yes, she's behind in CS, but she's at a decent strength. She can 1v1 the Pantheon. This tower should be going pretty low. But let me make another point very, very, very clear. Team comps. Going to be talking about this a lot. It's going to get repetitive, and I'm not going to apologize because it's the main lesson of today's episode. The enemy team is an early snowballing team comp. They have Pantheon, they have, Shaco, they've got a Fizz. They want to snowball. What should you not do against a snowballing team? Give them the possibility to snowball. This Poppy is giving them the possibility to snowball, even though she hasn't died yet. She's building, I believe she's building Triforce first item. Why? There's no point. You're just giving them an open to kill you because you'll be squishy. If this is your type of situation, you're in this game at home and you're playing later in the day, right now, and you're in this situation that they have an early snowballing team and you're a Poppy or something like that, build tank. This Poppy could have bought a Sunfire first item, a Randuin's first item would have been great, and then build damage later on when they're starting to fall off, but you're already tanky. They can't kill you in the early game, they can't snowball if you're building tanky straight away. So there's just one very big thing to point out. It's actually a kind of cool thing too. Shaco comes for the gank, but then just gets completely flown away from the Poppy. Pantheon's looking to try and kill her, but again, this won't happen. She won't be able to die to him in a 1v1. But that's my point. If she's building Triforce, it gives her a possibility to die in a 1v1 or a possibility to die in a 2v1. Looking for a gank on the Fizz in the mid lane right now. Get a nice double stun coming out of the me and the Victor. He's so close to death. I thought he'd die right there. He didn't. And we're like, oh, you're kidding me, right? So I'm just looking to chase a little bit. My Q's coming back up, and then look for it. I hit him for the second time, but it does no damage. Jinx Rocket comes down, but she misses. While this is going on, because they were probably focusing on trying to hit the Fizz, they weren't paying attention. The Jinx is having a bit of a rough game so far. She does go down to the Severe. I look for the Q. She does flash away. So at this point, I'm like, right, closest target. Go for the Thresh. Try to get this kill. But then he flashes away as well. So not a great situation to be in. So I'm like, okay, maybe we can get a kill. Maybe we'll see. And I'm like, all right, we can get this kill. Pantheon TP is coming down. Unfortunately, Poppy mucks up completely. Let me just make that point very clear before we go back in the bot lane. She E's to a minion when she could have ran a little bit more and then E'd Pantheon. I didn't obviously notice that in-game because I'm focusing on bot lane in my live version of this. But in a replay, this is the thing that we can point out. That is a big mistake. That allows the Pantheon to get to bot lane. Anyway, let's continue the bot lane fight. So you can kind of see Pantheon is in midair just about to kill me. We're going to go over to the team fight screen so we can actually have a bit of a closer look. But he's about to jump on my face. Okay, I'm dead right now. But you can see Victor, the glorious Victor, is arriving. So boom, I'm dead. Victor ult comes down. There's straight away a double kill. Heal from Severe a little bit too late. So overall, a nice play by Victor. It's allowing the Victor to get a little bit stronger. But again, I keep saying the point because it's a very important one. This bot lane, Jinx is currently 3 deaths while Poppy actually gets killed by Shaco. I don't know how that happened. But Fizzle also comes down, but this shouldn't be a kill for Fizz. They should be completely fine. They should just be running away right now. There's no point to be anywhere near. And I'm going to be probably heading my way back to bot lane because that's probably the most pressured lane. And maybe that could be a kill for the Jinx. But yeah, the Jinx is struggling a little bit. She's especially struggling with the Thresh hooks. Like, she's just been hit by Thresh hook after Thresh hook, waiting for the spell shield, then go for the knockup. Don't know if it's going to be a kill. Very close to be a kill. And surprise, surprise, Pantheon comes and then kills the Jinx. Like, this is what Pantheon top does. We just need pressure from the Poppy in top lane. Again, I don't know how she died to Shaco in a 1v1. It leads back to the point, if she went tanky before damage, she wouldn't die anyway and then build damage later. So that's a very important lesson to make. But if Poppy had the right idea, build tanky early and then just pressure this tower. You could even buy an early Zrot portal to make sure this tower is getting absolutely bombarded. Even if that means Pantheon is still roaming and that means Shaco is top lane, you're not going to die as a tanky Poppy versus a Shaco. And it just enables you to get the tower and punish the Pantheon roaming. But unfortunately, none of that happened. Look for a little pick there. It was a good Leona stun, but unfortunately they did get away. Now the blue buff comes back up. And obviously, I did say, Victor, I'm not sure if I'm going to give you the blue buff because you've died a lot to it. But he was 0-3 and now he's 4-4. So I do decide to give it over to him. And that's one thing to say as a support or as a jungler. Be flexible. Don't always be like, oh, I'm not giving you blue buff, you know, you're playing bad. And don't always have that attitude. If they start playing better, then give them the blue buff. But all that needs to happen in this game right now is the game needs to be settled down. Just wait for items. The enemy team know I'm here somehow. I actually don't know because they don't have a ward. Or do they? Maybe because of Fog of War. Maybe they do. But yeah, just settle the game down. Don't do anything crazy. Wait for items in the late game. And just don't let them get further ahead. It's the point that I want to make to you guys. And unfortunately, Leona said be right back. She does come back. So yeah, straight away she comes back. So it's not bad. But like I mentioned to you guys, is the point I said earlier, is if you are finding that you are behind while Poppy actually goes down, and again, that leads to my point, build tank before damage when they're a snowballing team. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I lost the track. Thresh looks for a roam on the Victor, but he does manage just to walk away. Thresh also used ultimate without actually hitting the hook, so that's a good summoner down, or a spell down from them that we know of. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. If you do find yourself in a situation that you're behind the enemy team, just try to keep that. Just don't, you know, you don't have to go for crazy plays to try and get ahead of them, but just don't do crazy plays that gets them further ahead. That's the big thing. Dragon is coming up right now, so I'm thinking, hey, we maybe could do this. Jinx is all alone in bot lane. Shaco does look for a gank. They might be looking for a dive. She actually would have got hooked again. And I do decide, okay, I'm going to just go for this. Just try to get the kill. Maybe we can get it. Boom, the good kill. I flashed actually quite badly there. That was a mistake by me. Leona ult comes down and completely misses. She also misses the E. So unfortunately, that was a little bit messy. If Leona walked a little bit more and, you know, didn't do the E so far out of range, that possibly could have been a kill. Throw hook comes down. He's actually predicting them quite well. He predicted the flash, but it just wasn't in range. But the Jinx needs to do something a bit different in her play. Like, she had to use flash there, obviously, because she would have got hooked. What you need to do is just don't put yourself in the situations originally to get hooked. You know, she's from what we've seen in this game, she very much just walks in a straight line. Yes, the Thresh is pretty good at predicting it, but don't walk in a straight line. Just predict like a different way. Commit to a way. It's like walking a dog. If you've got an aggressive dog coming at you, you pick a side. You don't walk directly to the dog. Anyway, top lane continuing just to farm. Pantheon is obviously got a little bit of a lead right now. He's got the Black Cleaver, he's got 3 long swords. We can safely say the Pantheon is actually starting to snowball. And again, I don't want to put all the blame on Poppy, but it could have definitely been better if she built tank early, built even a Zarot portal early to keep the guy in top lane to get this tower, would have put him off roaming. It's just smart play. That's what I mentioned. It's just, you don't have to always be like, I'm going damage. You can just be smart. Just think of, how am I going to win this game the easiest? You don't have to think, how am I going to get strong the easiest? Think about how you're going to win. Get the second dragon, so that's pretty good. I will say I've got some decent jungle pressure in this game, even though, you know, I've got 1 more assist than the Shaco. Thresh is looking pretty aggressive for the Leona. And the Rift Tower does go down for the Pantheon. Thresh ultimates, good Leona ult coming down there, and I think Victor picks up a kill for himself. That's good. Having a fed Victor in this game is a very nice situation. The reason for it is later in the game, when team fights eventually happen, having a Victor that can one-shot the squishy champions of the enemy team is a pretty nice thing to have. Fizz does turn. At this point, I'm going to try and come over the best I can and try to get the kill. Unfortunately, what was happening then, I do take responsibility for this. Basically, while all this was happening, there was something happening top lane. Poppy did go down, and I admit, I was watching top lane. It's a terrible excuse. It's a bad play from me, but that's what happened. I was watching top lane, and it did cost Victor his life, probably, so that's my bad. Anyway, continuing just to do a bit of jungle. Shaco, as you can see, is in our jungle. He's going to be pretty confident right now. Even though he's probably not crazy strong, he probably can't 1v1 me as a Rek'Sai. He's going to have some confidence to him. You know, the game's going quite well. Why wouldn't he be confident in the end of the day? But hopefully that confidence will go down the later this game goes on. Jinx is a little bit nervous, obviously, rightfully so. She is, you know, 3-5. She's a little bit behind, or 40 CS behind her CS. And what is tending to happen now is she's starting to always be alone. Anyway, Pantheon comes down for a gank. I'm just typing in chat, basically, and I remember what I said. And again, it was a mistake by me. I shouldn't be typing when a gank's coming off. I don't think I would have helped her anyway. But I said something on the lines of, play passive, don't be alone, and we'll probably win the game. But unfortunately, Jinx loves to be alone right now. I do commit for the team fight. The reason for committing is Victor was on his way, and that's basically why I went in. Now, unfortunately, what I should have done differently here is I probably should have gone over for the Thresh. I should have probably ignored the Pantheon. I should have gone over for the Thresh because the Severe's over there too. He actually makes the error of trying to go for the kill on the Thresh and doesn't get it. Hopefully he'll get away. Not sure if he will. Good flash by Severe. They do manage to bring him down. We managed to eventually get the Pantheon in bot lane, but we're in trouble. Like, we're 100% in trouble. Fizz is now here. He throws the ultimate on the Poppy. Nice, I think that's W from Poppy coming out. And I'm like, alright, we're dead. See you later. As soon as Severe shows up, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. So I E over and then look for the ultimate and then zoom, zoom, zoom. Managed to get on out of there. So at least I survived. So that team fight wasn't great. But as you can kind of see, we do have some strength to us. We are starting to be able to kill them. Where a while ago, we probably couldn't even kill them. Their strength is starting to fall off. I throw the Q over there just to see if the enemy team were doing it randomly, but they're not. But yeah, their strength is starting to fall off. We've just got to be smart. Just be smart on, just don't go crazy. Basically, it's 19 minutes into the game right now. In my own head, I'm thinking, right, if we just get to like 25 minutes... You know, only 6 minutes more than this game currently, will be on such more of an even footing to win the game. And that is simply champions. That is simply how champions work in this game. What you have to understand with how champions work and build, etc. Certain champions in League of Legends have a very high base damage. Okay, I just want to pause the game very quick before we, you know, make this point. Being alone, letting the enemy team have an advantage when they clearly already have one, is what could lose you many games. Especially when the enemy team is already ahead. And multiple times, you know, if this was a live commentary, again, I don't record this, this is purely a replay episode, but in chat, I was saying a lot, don't be alone. Don't give them an advantage, just group if we want to do something. If we want to go for this mid tower, be 5 people. Don't be 2, don't be 3, don't even be 4, be 5. So let's just see how this plays out. So there's 2 people in mid lane, Victor isn't there, I'm not there, Poppy's not there. But they're deciding to go for the tower. Remember, the enemy team comp is a Pantheon and a Shaco. So there's the Pantheon ult, one shot the Jinx. There's the Shaco looking for the rest of the kill. Why are they there? That's the thought process that people get really confused about all the time. We can't do anything about this. They both go down for a situation that simply didn't need to happen. That was my bot lane, for some reason, thinking, we need to get this mid tower now, when we really don't. just read the enemy team. Like, you have to remember, in the loading screen, this is a low diamond game on average. There are more diamonds in this game than platinums in this game now. Like, the Jinx is Diamond 5, the Leona is a Platinum 2, but then Victor's Diamond 4, Poppy's Diamond 5. So this is a pretty good high rating. Anyway, teamfight is going down. Again, you can see how squishy that Poppy is. She can't go in and fight. I do look for a flash, and the Severe is so low health. Unfortunately, she doesn't go down. Jinx Rocket does come, but Thresh has the good idea to move in the way. I think he actually purposely thought a Jinx Rocket was coming. But yeah, we have a squishy Poppy that can't do anything in team fights. It's just a not great situation to be in when we could have been. We could have been. All chat is coming out. It's actually kind of interesting. Some chats or some all chats actually show, or some replays, sorry, show all chat. So that's actually the first thing that has been said in the chat this whole game. If it does become distracting, again, Jinx is alone. She does get killed by Shaco. You're kind of seeing a pattern emerging here. But if the all chat becomes distracting, then I probably will just get rid of the all chat. And that's one thing to say, and it goes back to why I mute people so much. Do I mute people on my main account, or say in this replay episode, would I have muted people as much? Probably not. I openly admit I probably mute people more when I'm doing Unranked to Diamond. The reason for it is because it's distracting to me while doing the commentary. Obviously, I'm going to be reading what's happening in the chat, and if someone is raging or being salty, it's a distraction to the recording. Nice kill by Victor there. That's a pretty good pickup. Good Leona ult comes down. I directly smite, I believe, the Severe and manage to pick up the kill with Q. We back off. Don't let the team get an advantage. Shaco comes for a little thing. But again, he's not a threat. If we don't let them, you know, kind of jump on us, they're not a threat. Pantheon does jump on the Victor. Unfortunately, both of them go down. Jinx decided to go bot lane when there was a massive fight happening in mid. But again, I'm kind of losing hope with the Jinx. And sometimes you've got to basically just... I'm going to pause it really quickly. So my thought process here was Poppy was going to come. Jinx is coming pretty quickly. If I die right now, it could set up 2 possible kills. That was my thought process. So I do go down. Boom. Gets the knock up in the wall. Jinx Rocket comes down. Thresh actually gets in the way. But hopefully they can pick up the kill. Jinx actually gets, I think, 1 shot by the Shaco, unfortunately. There's 2 kills from the Poppy. So this is actually what I was thinking. Maybe we can get some kills on the Poppy. Obviously, I didn't expect the Shaco. But she managed to pick up a double kill for herself, so that's not bad. But certain times, whenever you have a teammate that's just not performing, not doing great, they just are, let's say, in a pattern or a routine that's just not good. This Jinx's pattern that we can clearly understand is she just loves being alone and just isn't willing to group. She just isn't willing to be with the team. She wants to be bot lane farming. She wants to try and get mid lane with just 2 people. That's the pattern of this Jinx. When you have someone like that, meanwhile, Poppy is looking for... this is interesting. You can play Pink Panther music right now. This should be a free kill. She's going to run back in the direction. Poppy did not wait for Spell Shield. That was really poor play by Poppy, actually. I don't know why she waited in that bush so much. But yeah, that was quite poor play. But when you have someone like that on your team that is just so awkward to deal with, the best thing to do, give up on that person. Basically, try to win as a 4-player team. Pantheon ult comes down. My team is starting to group. Good Victor stun there. I'm going to try. You can see... Pantheon is squishy. Just kill him instantly. Leona ult unfortunately misses. Shaco's in the back line trying to pick up a kill here. Boom, double kill. Fizz comes in for another kill. Gonna try and pick this up. He does flash over the wall. Unfortunately, Poppy is gonna go throw or like fight a support where she should be coming to fight these two. I try my best to try pick up a kill, but they manage to focus me and I die. But yeah, Poppy running for that Thresh was a big mistake. She basically should have just run back and we would have got both of them. She's going to try and continue going for the kills. Throw the ultimate down. And I believe she's going to try and get herself in a position to kill both of them. Fizz goes for a kill. Gets stunned into the wall. Don't know why he did that. So Poppy eventually does pick up the kills. But me and Leona probably didn't need to die if he didn't go chasing the Thresh. Like, he didn't even get the Thresh kill. He chased a bit, realized he wasn't going to get it, and then came back when we were already dead. It's very often like, if you can kill a support in 1 shot, yeah, go kill the support in 1 shot. But if a big team fight's happening where their carries are still up and they're low health, run that way. Run to the carries. Go kill the carries. Like, that's the better thing to do. Inferno Dragon is up. Obviously a very good, powerful dragon to have. Gives your team more damage and all that good stuff. So we obviously very much want this. My team is starting it without me, which is a bit of a panic situation. I very much remember when it got a little bit low, you can see that they're warding. We actually have vision of the Shaco right now. I remember typing in chat, stop damage, stop damage, stop damage. Don't let them get it. Pantheon mispositions and just instantly dies, and that's what's going to happen a lot in this game. I managed to eventually get there in time and pick it up, so that's quite nice. Shaco is over that way. I'm going to Eon over. Try to go for the Severe. I managed to pick up the kill with my Q. Water gun go. And then Shaco is having a little bit of a fun time with the Poppy. Again, the Poppy shouldn't die to the Shaco. She doesn't have any armor, and that's where I say the build could have been a lot different. More kills coming out of mid lane. They do manage to do okay. And then I come down, try to get the kill, use my trinket to try and know where he is. I go for the flash, go for the smite, manage to get the slow off, and that's all I wanted. Poppy didn't get the stun, but it's okay. And boom, we get the kill. So that's nice. That flash was a bit of a risky flash if I wasn't in range to get that smite off. Mid tower is pretty low. So there we go. And we're probably going to just rotate over to try and get the kill. I think Victor going into that tower range complained a little bit of lag. He had a lag spike, that's why he went into that. But yeah, I want to get this tower as much as possible. Pantheon unfortunately coming down. I'm just going to wait on below him and then just pop him up straight away. It's the best thing you can do as a Rek'Sai on this Pantheon. You can see I'm doing a lot of damage to this guy. He's not fighting me, obviously. Now he's decided to fight me. But in a 1v1, it would be pretty close at this point. You know, his damage is falling off. I'm pretty goddamn tanky. Fight's coming down. Maybe we can pick up some kills. I try to get away, but a Pantheon Q manages to finish me off. Victor's pretty low, but he uses his speed up. Good Leona ult just to slow the guy. Unfortunately, wasn't a stun. Okay, let's pause. Big fight happening. Low health Thresh, low health Pantheon Poppy. Farming in the top lane. Now, I don't mind her farming in the top lane right now. Like, you know, she's been farming. You know, what I would expect, though, I'd expect this in bronze, silver, gold. I expect this from anybody that plays League of Legends. Is she seeing this happening? I would expect her to start moving. So let's just see. Focus on the minimap. Fight still happening. Poppy not moving. Decided to base. Still not moving. It was a bit frustrating at that point. Why? And then also we know they're doing Baron. Why base now? You know, they're doing Baron. Go over to the Baron. Annoy them. Use your Poppy ult to throw them all away. That would stop the Baron. But no, she doesn't group. She doesn't even move. And then she doesn't go over to the Baron. Big mistake coming out from the Poppy there. Like, very big mistake. Anyway, the Baron's gone. Again, it's not the end of the world, and that's one thing I don't want to make this thing. You know, I don't want to make it so my commentary right now is saying, oh, we've lost. You know, for spoilers, we've lost. I don't want that to be what I'm sending out the message here. What I'm sending out the message here now is, this is a game we can win. We can win this game very easily if we do the right thing. If we group, if we don't give them pick opportunities, and we basically focus down the right target. So if Pantheon mispositions, you kill him instantly because he's squishy. If Shay goes into the middle of us, we kill him instantly, we throw a Victor W on him. This game is a relatively easy one, and I'm going to use the word easy. Usually I don't like to use that word. This is an easy game to win, purely based off team comps. They have a team comp that is strong in the early game. Yes, they got strong in the early game. Unfortunately, Jinx does go alone by herself. We're gonna now just get rid of the chat because I don't want it to be distracting from what's actually going on. But yeah, based on team comps, this is such an easy game to win for my team. We've just got to play it correctly. Jinx has to stop going alone. She's died 12 times. After, I don't know, the 6th death, it might have clicked. I've stopped going alone. But unfortunately, it didn't click. Unfortunately, throughout this whole game, she's just like, I'm going to stay going alone. And she dies pretty much every time for doing it. Victor picks up a nice kill from Pantheon. This is what I mean. We can kill them. We have a good team comp. They are a squishy team comp. We have advantage in team fights. But unfortunately, we never get this opportunity to team fight. So I was just getting rid of the Shaco split push. Remember, I'm a Rek'Sai, so I can always just ultimate my way on over if they get in trouble. Unfortunately, she mistimes Leona, and now this is a messy situation. So we want team fights. We don't want people getting caught. There's a big difference in that. So both of them go down for a situation, again, that didn't need to happen. Shaco's on over by me. So I'm just basically putting him off. And I can go for this kill fairly easily, but unfortunately, he does a little bit too much damage, and boom, I go down. So I thought I could have gone for the kill. It was so close. I did a little bit too much damage to his clone that exploded in my face. If it didn't explode in my face, I think I would have picked up that kill. Again, it's an unfortunate situation. But yeah, I don't know. This game, just full of situations that don't need to happen. All we needed to do is play passive, then group as 5, and it's an easy win. Anyway, we're still not out of the count right now, though. So again, we can still team fight them. I believe we still can win this. So we're just going to wait till everybody's back up healthy. And I think then we can stop them. They are looking to get this inhibitor in one go. Thresh goes for the E. Misses it completely. He does it actually the wrong way. And that's a nice free kill. Fizz misses his ultimate, but he does go down for the Jinx. She might go down, or does she make it? She manages to make it. I'm coming on over to help the Poppy out. She does pick up the Fizz kill. Then we're going for extra kills here. Severe flashes on top of Victor for some reason, and she also goes down. So you can see, we have damage. They are squishy. We can win this team fight. We can win this game. We can win these team fights if we just stay together. Now, Jinx did a very weird thing here. So instead of changing her playstyle of, I'm not going to be alone, I'm not going to get caught anymore, I'm just going to stay with my team, they can protect me. Instead of doing that, she bought a GA. So that tells me this is a player that doesn't want to change their playstyle, even though it's going very bad. She doesn't want to change her playstyle. She will just rather buy GA so she doesn't die instantly. No. Change your playstyle. She could continue building damage right now, but just change the playstyle. It's that simple. Gonna just be smiting the wolf over there. Obviously, later in the game, it's always nice to have the wolf spirit, especially because you don't know if they're going to try and backdoor, or you don't know what's going to go on. So I'd recommend always smiting that, you know, when it's like, you know, 25 minutes. Well, but not really on a time, because again, late game isn't subject to time. There was a guy that was confused in the comment section a couple of days ago that was going, oh, late game is only 40 minutes onward. No, that's not how it works. Late game can be at 15 minutes. Late game is situational depending the game. Late game is when a team is ready to push for the win. They're ready to push for the Nexus. That's when late game is it. That's when late game is. Early game is your early laning phase. Mid game is when you're grouping occasionally. You might be doing Dragon as a team. And then late game is when you are a team looking to end. And again, that can be at 15 minutes if one team snowballs. Anyway, going to just be pushing the super minions. These two, they're in a little bit of a risky situation if they were to push a little bit more. Fortunately, they don't. Because, you know, Pantheon, hey, surprise, surprise, he's here. They decide to go for the kill on him. Is this a mistake? Maybe. He has GA in the end of the day. Leona gets her thingy blocked and boom, he gets away. Meanwhile, Fizz comes out. Like I mentioned, it's risky if they were to continue. They continued. They got punished for it. Just no point risking it. You know, at this point, they have Baron buff, etc. Just play safe. Be in base. You don't need to do anything other than that. Anyway, a fight's going on. We managed to kill the Shaco in bot lane, so it's something. Just getting rid of the split push. Obviously, it's a Shaco. He's going to split push. Just get rid of that possibility. Jinx Rocket's coming down. Boom. Doesn't really hit anybody of note, unfortunately. Could have hit the Fizz. Thresh hook comes down. Does hit again. I will say, I'll give this Thresh some props. He did hit nice hooks. I'll say the hooks on Jinx, they weren't really nice hooks. The Jinx was just running into them. I think even in the out screen, the Thresh kind of laughed. Was like, Jinx was just running into my hooks. So that wasn't great, but he has hit nice hooks throughout the game, you know, not just on Jinx. Going for a bit of damage, he does get a nice hook on me. Fizzle also comes down, and I just get completely nommed. That was unfortunate. Even if I didn't get Thresh hooked then, I think the Fizzle would have hit me, so that was just a poopy situation to be in. Severe damage actually pops the GA from the Jinx, unfortunately. So there's a GA gone. And yeah, a lot of minions entering the base. Rock Portal, really nice item to buy. And that's a big thing that I wanted to say earlier to you guys. I completely forgot what even this Poppy built later in the game. She did eventually buy a Rock Portal. If she swapped it around in the earlier game and then built that earlier to stop the Pantheon roaming, like some people will say, oh, stop giving the Poppy a hard time, she's 958. She's doing well now, but in the early game, it allowed Pantheon to roam and allowed Pantheon to get fed. If she built a build that kept Pantheon in lane a lot more, Zrock Portal or something like that, he wouldn't be this fed, and this game could be completely different. So yes, she's doing well in the late game, great, good on her. But her early game is what probably caused the Pantheon snowballing. Her early game decision of buying Triforce over something like Randuin's and then Zrock Portal. It would have kept Pantheon in lane. He wouldn't have been able to kill her. Shaco wouldn't have been able to kill Poppy one-on-one. And I think we would have been in a bit of a better situation. Because we know when I'm ganking bot lane, if Poppy's keeping Pantheon top lane, I don't need to think of a Pantheon ulting down bot lane. I just gank and that's it. But we always had to think about it. Fizz misses his ultimate and then just gets away. There's nothing really more to say about that. Shaco's looking for the split push. Again, that's what a Shaco does. Again, you can see by the scores of just the junglers. He's 8-7-8. I'm 8-7, but I'm 11. I'm trying to be more involved with the game, where that's not a Shaco's objective. A Shaco's objective is to be annoying, to split push, etc. Now, these two are alone right now, or relatively alone, so I'm thinking maybe we can get something of this. So I go for the smite, and then boom. We managed to get her ultimate. I'm like, okay, that's a good thing to get. Let's back off now, or maybe look for a team fight. Unfortunately, Leona does get caught out a little bit. Good ultimate coming, or nearly good ultimate coming down. And now here's basically the last team fight of the game, I believe. Jinx does misposition a little bit. She's a little bit close to the team fight where she should be in the back line. And they're just a bit too strong right now. We managed to pick up a nice kill from the Fizz there. Again, we're still pretty strong. Poppy's looking for a team fight. She does go for the Shaco. Thresh is using his ultimate just basically to deter anybody going for anything right now. But I think we will try to collapse again. Poppy does miss position and does get killed eventually because we just can't get to her. But yeah, messy team fight. Could have gone better, obviously. Me and Victor might be able to do something here. He does have exhaust, and I think he does go, unfortunately, for the kill straight into a box. Really unfortunate. I go for the Shaco kill, manage to pick it up, and I'm thinking, right, let's try to get away. Run, 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 run. And any second, severe flash and a box. I think I would have died anyway, but the box definitely secured it. Obviously, I didn't know it was there. That was an unfortunate box, so good placement by the Shaco, I guess. But even though we are really ahead, you know, we are 11,000 gold ahead, these team fights, I wouldn't say they are just stomp team fights. We are killing people here. Pantheon ult does come down. Leona missed positions, unfortunately. She will go down relatively for free. Jinx should just be running away at this point. You know, no point really to be there. Which she does manage to get away, I believe, or not. She does get hooked once again, and she will go down to the Pantheon. But yeah, these team fights, when we're actually fighting 5v5, they're not complete stomps. We are managing to get a fair good amount of kills here. And the point is, if we didn't get behind as much in the early game, I believe we would have won. Again, I still believe we could have won this game easily if Jinx just, you know, played a little bit smarter, don't go solo. If the Poppy build is a little bit different in the early game, managing to keep Pantheon in lane a little bit more, I think we could have won. I honestly do that. I'm not just saying that. I'm not somebody that just says things out of my butt. I honestly, genuinely believe we could have won this game. Based on team comps and based on everything other that I've said. Anyway, the minions are going to start just piling on in here, which is a hard situation to deal with. And I'm thinking, okay, we're going to chase a bit. I'm going to maybe try to go for the Q snipe. He does get away. And then at this point, I'm like, right, just back off. Just back off, Poppy. You let come up. Just go back to base. There's no point running for it. There's millions of minions going here. Come on, Poppy. And no, there's Zhonya's. There's 4 people. And she does go down for nothing. It was just no point to be there at that point. There's too many minions. You can see they're just breaking down all the base. Winions, if you will. We're going to speed up the game because, yes, relatively, I admit this is a loss. Unfortunate game to have. But hopefully, you know, if this was a live commentary, and this is why I'm very tempted to do these replay commentaries more often, if this is a live commentary, I can guarantee, you know, I'm never going to be a rager, but I can guarantee I would have been a little bit salty going, hey, we could have won this game, Jinx, blah, blah, blah. I would have probably been ranting a bit. With this, you can see it in action. You can't argue with my points here because it's just a fact. I was looking for the steal, but unfortunately I didn't have my tunnel up. So that was just a mess situation to be in. I knew they were doing it. But yeah, you can't argue my points here. If someone else is going, no, this, and this, you can't. My points are very crystal clear. You've seen this happen in action. You've seen Jinx split push. You've seen Pantheon getting fed due to Poppy not having top lane pressure. You've seen all these things. You can't argue with these things. So that's why the replay series is really good. It's not the fact that, you know, I want to prove that I'm right all the time. That's not what I mean. It's the fact that you guys can see it happening. It's not, you know, you don't have to take my word on it anymore. Like a live commentary, you kind of have to take my word. That's it. With these, you see it happening. I'm pausing it. I'm showing you. I'm explaining. That's why I like doing these. And I'm not going to make them very common. I might make this, you know, once every 2 weeks. Once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's not going to be a normal thing. Or it will be a normal thing, but not a very common thing. That's the idea. Final team fight coming down. So the enemy team has Baron and Elder Dragon. Leona gets popped instantly. I'm focusing a little bit on the minions here because I'm like, well, there's nothing else I can do. I can't kill anybody anymore. So I do decide, let's just not die. The enemy team is just way too strong, so that's going to be the game. So hopefully you guys did learn something. You know, if I did this commentary, the other side, if I say was this fizz, you'd be learning, hey, we need to win this game early on. Our team comp falls off. That would be the opposite of this. It would be we need to win early. They didn't win early, but they let their early lead translate into a good mid-late game because people kept getting picked. They wanted picks. They wanted to get fed early, and that's what happened. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Throw a like on it if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.